welcome to another episode of Inside UFLB. My name is Dean Millard, head of baseball operations for Ultimate Fantasy League Baseball and the commissioner for UFLB. And congratulations to the new franchise owners and ownership groups. It was quite a weekend. This show is being broadcast on Ultimate Fantasy Sports Network and it being presented by Ultimate Franchise Fantasy Sports, the umbrella of this wonderful platform. We'll tell you all about them as we go along in the show, but I do have to tell you a little bit about what this show is about.
This is a serious message. Peace and love. Peace and love.
So, the mission of this show is 27 minutes exactly. You see that counter in the top right, 27 straight out. 27 straight outs is a perfect game. We'll try to be exactly 27 minutes from the first pitch that was thrown out. So there's the counter. We'll try to get on with the program and get it done in a timely fashion. And of course, we have to say big thank you to our title sponsor, Ultimate Franchise Fantasy Sports. It's the most realistic fantasy platform ever, and it's not just giant prize pools. There's going to be a really cool betting component that's coming along, and digital athlete NFTs. www.uffsports.com is where you can find and check out the new website. We've got it all going on at uffsports.com. Find your sport, become a fan, become a scout. We have it all. The most realistic fantasy platform you will ever find. Here's how you get in touch with us on the show.
You talking to me? You talking to me? You talking to me? Well, who the hell else are you talking? You talking to me? Well, I'm the only one here.
Hit me up on Twitter at Duck Millard. Follow at the UFLB. Also follow Brian Hernandez in the scouting at UFLB_scouting. Check it out. Learn what's going on. You will love it. If you want to get in touch with us, info UFLB at UFFsports.com. You can also reach UFSN at UFSN at UFFsports.com. And as mentioned, we showed you the website, www.uffsports.com. There it is one more time. Head on over there and check things out. Okay, so before we get into things officially,
Play ball!
I want to recognize that, of course, today is Remembrance Day, and it's a time for us to say thank you for those that have fought and are serving still for us. Particularly, I'd like to say thank you and a big hello to Captain Derek Millard, who's been a member of the Canadian military for over 30 years. An incredible man, and my older brother. So thank you very much, Derek, for your service. It was great to hang out with him and my father in Regina when we were doing the baseball auctions there. So thank you to all who have served and are continuing to serve, and certainly we owe you a debt of gratitude. So, as for what happened in Regina when it came to the baseball auctions for UFLB, man, that was something else. We literally went into that saying, I wonder if we'll have 3, 4, maybe 6 minutes of extensions. We had 66 extra innings. It kept going and going and going like that bunny for the batteries. Man, I couldn't believe it. And then the late drama, Philip Beavis coming in late and coming out on top. Nick Lewis showing up in the last minute. I was messaging with Nick, and he said he was driving to Moose Jaw. He's like, I got to get in this auction. So he's figuring out how to do that. So I love it. It was so exciting. And I can't wait for Ultimate Fantasy World Juniors. I'm going to be participating in that one, trying to buy a franchise in that. So you, the franchise owners, made it awesome. And for those that didn't get in, there's still an opportunity. You can be an investor. So if you are looking for an investor, there are people out there that are looking to invest. So late splashes, big drama, so much fun. And already franchises are busy hiring. Nick Lewis tapping former Texas Ranger Cameron Lowe as his GM for that franchise. The Snake Pit fans are going to love that in Texas. The franchise IFAB6.LB going with Luca Cesaretti. Hopefully I pronounced that right, as their GM. Sean Latta is the man for Five Eyes Entertainment. And the franchise bid on by Max Elliott announced last night the hiring of Dennis Mental. So that is a huge hire. And all of those guys, congratulations on your appointments. And owners looking for GMs, we have a list. So reach out and get in touch with me, DM me or email me, Dean_UFLB@UFFsports.com. If you're out there and you're watching this, get in our Telegram chat, message me, check it out. You could get hired to play fantasy sports. It is an incredible league. It's going to take a lot of work, but you could get that gig. Also, one more thing, make sure that you are reaching out to Liz to make payment arrangement. 50% of your franchise fee must be paid by December 1st, the rest by December 31st. But if you want to get a start on branding, you have to be fully paid. So nothing could be branded, nothing can be submitted to the league for approval until you are fully paid. So make sure you're getting in touch with Liz about payment information to get that taken care of. All right, we are going to chat with our guest of the show. Ian Constable is going to be joining us in just 1 second. He's a member of UFFS on all 4 different sports that we have. So we'll chat with Ian Constable right after this.
You talking to me? You talking to me? You talking?
Don't try to strike everybody out. Strikeouts are boring. Besides that, they're fascist.
Presented by Ultimate Franchise Fantasy Sports.
Throw some ground ball. More democratic.
Get in the game, where you own the game.
Inside UFLB is part of the Ultimate Fantasy Sports Network. Hit them up on an email, UFSN@UFFsports.com. If you have a daily, weekly, or even a monthly fantasy sports show, we would love to chat with you, and you can get on the network. Also, give them a follow on Twitter @UFS Network and join Ultimate Fantasy Sports Network. Great to welcome to the program Ian Constable, who is a member of a group that was successfully taking home a baseball franchise over the weekend, finishing in 12th in the bidding, and we'll pick 12th. And Ian, thanks so much for joining me on Inside UFLB. I thought it would be kind of neat to have you on because you are involved in all 4 of the sports that we have here on the UFFS platform. So maybe just kind of introduce yourself in the different sports that you're involved with, as well as now as UFLB in baseball.
Sure, you bet. And thanks so much for having me, Dean. This is a real pleasure for me because I've been listening to your stuff for such a long time, ever like way back to when you were with Guy Flaming on the Pipeline show in Edmonton here. So it's really my pleasure to be on here. This is my 4th league that I'm involved with. My first league was the hockey, and I wasn't an owner. I wish I had gotten in early and had become an owner early, but I started off as a GM in hockey, and since then I've become a managing partner of that team, the Stallions in hockey. And then I saw what happened in hockey, and it just blew me away, everything in the hockey. So I got involved with the football as a majority owner for the Blitz there, as well as being the GM of that team. Then the basketball came up, and I thought, well, I'm not as big a basketball fan, but I thought I've got to keep getting it because it's such an incredible experience. So I joined with a couple of other guys, one of my partners for the football, Jamie Spavin, as well as Mike Marth, who is a part owner and our GM in the basketball. So, and he's doing a great job with that. That's the Bombers. And now finally we have the baseball team here. There's 10 of us, so lots of partners in this one. I wanted to go a little bit more minority this time as in the partnership, but I wanted in again with the baseball. I play fantasy baseball, lots of leagues. So I wanted to get in on baseball as well. So I'm excited to be in on all 4.
Oh, wow, that's so awesome. 1 of 4 to be involved in all 4, I believe, in UFFS. And you know, you can be involved in so many different ways, as you just explained. You know, one of them you're running it and the managing partner. One of them you're a bit more of a majority owner, and you can get involved as GMs. I mean, there are just so many different ways. And even now, people are looking to get back involved as maybe an investor in some teams. So I think that's the cool thing. You have 4 really different setups in 4 different sports, and you can get as heavily involved, or you can even be a silent partner in a lot of these different things.
That's correct. And it's funny, the ways for all 4 are completely different in the way we went about targeting where we wanted to be in the drafts and everything. With the football, we picked a little bit later in that one. We picked 23rd actually. It would cost a lot more to get in on that one. So if we could have gotten in a bit higher, that would have been great. But we were happy to get in the bottom third of the spending to get in on the auction. In the basketball, we wanted to be within the top 5 in picking in that draft. So we really targeted a top 5 position, and in this one we're picking 12th. So it's a bit of everything there. With the hockey, the hockey group is a low budget group that I'm involved with, but we're having a lot of fun with that one too.
And successful as well. And we're going to get into a little bit about strategy later on. But what was Sunday like for you? I know what it was like for me watching Extra Innings on that set. What was it like for your group and things like that, watching the bidding going on? Because we've had some really exciting times ahead and exciting times on this platform. I don't think we've had an auction like that where 66 extra innings, 66 different extensions pushed us so long. It took an hour-and-a-half show into a 2-hour show.
That's right. And we were actually one of those groups that kept pushing a little bit. We wanted to be in about the top third of the draft. We ended up 12th, so pretty close to the top third. But yeah, I was surprised. There was a couple times I thought, okay, that's it. I think there's 2 teams going to pass us again, and we'll end up in this spot here. And then it went on for another 20 minutes past that even. And we ended up bidding again ourselves just to kind of stay up there near that top third. So that was incredible. None of the others have really gone on like that so far. And you saw that there were more than 30 teams a while to go before even Extra Innings started. So you knew there was going to be a little bit of jockeying for position. So that was a lot of fun in that one.
Yeah. I think that it was just so wild to be a part of, and I can't imagine what the Ultimate Fantasy World Juniors will be like with the amount of overtimes that you might get, because only 10 franchises in that one. So for people looking to get involved even more, that could be a lot of fun as well. So you've had a chance to see how the other sports have worked, and obviously hockey being the kind of the flagship and the first one that has worked through a lot of things. What is it about Ultimate Fantasy League Baseball that made you interested, and this league specifically that said, I want to be involved in this baseball league?
Well, I'm in other baseball leagues, and that I actually draft with a lot. I have a group on Discord where we look for like top end managers, that are dedicated all the time, and we do really deep drafts. But that's only for Yahoo, and in Yahoo, a deep draft is the deepest you can get is 20 teams and 30 players per team. This one's going to blow that away, right? I love the depth involved in it. I love how far you can go with that depth, and then the prospects as well, right? It's not just the depth of all the players that are playing in baseball right now in the majors, but you also are looking at the prospects, getting involving yourself with scouts as well to make sure that you're getting those up and comers a ways out. There's just no leagues that I've found that you can keep that many players in the prospect area. And so that's a big part of it for me with all of the UFF sports is being able to and the prospects.
I think baseball is, every sport is different, and the different animal about baseball is that's what you're talking, different positions, the amount of prospects. I mean, it's a 40-round draft in Major League Baseball. We'll have 2 right now, but we will. I really can't wait till we get our minor league system going out. Like, it's great in hockey because we have that many extra protected spots, and we're working on things to make sure that the UFLB teams, aren't having their players that have just recently been drafted taking up those spots that you need to try to win a championship. But when we get the minor league system, it's really going to replicate it, and I can't wait for that. But the season-long point scoring system, what are your thoughts on that as compared to some of the other leagues that you're involved in on this platform that are head-to-head? Hockey and baseball, both season-long, football and basketball, more of a head-to-head. What do you think about the points season scoring system we have?
I actually like points systems in baseball. I'm in a number of baseball leagues that are head-to-head, but I actually am in two that are points leagues. One of them that I commish, and I like the points leagues in baseball. You can set them up the way that you think really shows what the player's highest worth is for the scoring. So I like that points. Of course, our hockey in the UFHL is that point system, and with all the hockey leagues that I've been in, most of them are points. Some have gone more head to head now sometimes, but hockey and football are the ones I've played the most over time, and I've played a lot of fantasy baseball. But I really enjoy those points because you can really see the value specifically for, like getting on base is that point for a hit, but you also have, like, if you're getting a double, then it's a 3-pointer because you have the point for the hit and then 2 more for the double. And then I like the fact that there's strikeouts being taken away and stuff from the hitters and stuff too. So this is going to be really interesting, this one. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm actually not going to be GMing this team. We're actually starting the search. We have a big group, and we're going to start searching for a GM. We've actually started searching already, but our group will be looking for a GM to run that. It's going to be more work than I've got now time for with all the other leagues that I'm in with UFF. I just can't put that kind of time towards it in the summer. So I'm going to be involved somewhat, but we'll definitely be hiring a GM.
Well, and that's a really smart thing, because if you don't have time to run one of these things, you can't do it properly. And people have realized that in other sports. And the other thing that you brought up is the scouting. I mean, you're involved in that side of it as well. And any franchise that is new to this platform, that's a no-brainer to affiliate yourself with a scout. There's lots of different ways, but not only can you save money depending on a deal, but it is also a place to keep prospects without having to put them on your roster if you have, depending on that deal or the setup that you have with the scout. So I think for new owners or even owners that don't have an affiliation, you're starting behind in a race if you don't have that affiliation with the scout. That's my opinion anyway.
For sure. Actually, my wife has our scouting agency. But also in football, I've affiliated myself with a fantastic scout in football to help with that. So without our scouting system, we'd be sunk. So it's really, like you said, it's extremely important to have that, to have an affiliated scout with your team. It's incredible how many scouts there are now in the ecosystem for UFF. And I looked, just knowing hockey really well, looking at the scouts that are out there in hockey, and I see some of the names on that list, and guys like Will Scouch and Sam Cosentino, and of course I know the Duckman's Domination is set up with Craig Button involved as well in the scouting. So we have incredible scouts out there, and I know that there's also guys like Jeff Ray and Mick Portini and all these guys that are incredible scouts. And I know that's going to be transferring right into baseball as well. We've seen it in football. It's really competitive with those scouts out there. And without an affiliated scout, it's going to be really tough. So I recommend to any teams out there to get yourself involved with a scout.
Yeah, it's a game changer, and there are terrific scouts out there. And where would we be without scouting? And where would we be without our wives owning our scouting agencies? Because with you, my wife Trish owns High Level Scouting, and the great thing is, once you sign on as a scout in this platform, you get to scout all 4 sports. So even for those baseball scouts that want to sign on, even though we don't have the scouting set up yet until February, they can start scouting other sports and try to find some $20 open markets. It's just such a wonderful system that you can, scout your sport, and then you can maybe hire somebody to scout under your agency. So all 4, any sport that we have, scouts are allowed to do that. So I think that's really cool. And I think it's also cool that there are so many different ways to try to win or compete or just run a team. And I think you're a good example of that, because you do that a little bit differently in some of the other sports. You mentioned in hockey, a bit of a smaller market team, but you still had a terrific run last year and made the playoffs. You don't have to spend money in the draft if you don't want to. Some teams do. We have a lot of draft picks the last couple of years because we're rebuilding, but other teams get rid of their draft picks and use them in different ways. So I always caution people that come in and they might see the big bucks flying around right away, and that's great because the prize pool goes up. It doesn't mean you have to participate if you either don't have the funds or you don't want to use your funds.
That's right. Hockey, I tell you, when I start off with a hockey, I was quite worried at first. I'm a very competitive person. I was GMing this team. I love building through the draft. And I was looking at it going, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this with this team. With the budget that we have, I'm not going to be able to spend at the draft with. I did it a little bit differently. I actually traded away all of my draft picks, but I was able to bring in guys like later on, like Quentin Byfield, and earlier on some guys like Anton Lundell and Adam Beckman, and these guys are starting to pay off now. I didn't get them in the draft, but they're recently drafted players as well, right? You're able to pick up those prospects still by moving some guys around and everything. You don't have to just do it through the draft this way. You can move those picks. You can get out of it. We're going completely different in the basketball. We have a fantastic GM in basketball, Mike Marth. He's doing an amazing job. And we went to a little bit. We actually picked 7 guys in that second round of the UFBA draft, right? So a little bit different that way, right? We, like you were saying, you don't have to do it one way. It depends on how you want to go about it in that league, and we've done it in a number of different ways between our teams.
Yeah, you could be a hybrid. You can. There's just so many different things, and you and I have had this conversation before, and it's going to happen for a lot of people that are new to the platform. Is you get into it and you're thinking just strictly into kind of fantasy, and it's so different than any other fantasy league that you've been a part of. And at some point the light goes off and you realize, wow, this is a bigger thing than just a fantasy. It's a potential really, really good investment, but it's a bigger fantasy aspect than I've ever been a part of. And it does take people a while to see the big picture of the whole platform rather than just the fantasy aspect. They'll get there, but it does sometimes takes everybody a little bit of time to get there, and then once it does, you see it.
Yeah, for me it was 3/4 of a year. I was struggling. In hockey, and that was really hard for me. I almost was about to say, I don't know if I can continue on with this. It may not just be for me, and then I just saw the growth, and not just the growth. I saw like how much fun it could turn into, and started really building up that prospect pool, and it started growing more and more, and for me it just became more and more competitive. I really just all of a sudden the light came on, and I was like, what, you can send SCO in trades for a player, and I'm like, no, that can't be right. You can't just buy players. And then I saw, wow, look at what this is doing for this entire platform, for this league, for this team that I was GMing. I'm like, this team can really do well, and we're not spending any of that money. We're actually making that money in, and if you if you work some things around, you can actually keep that team competitive, and it's become even more competitive this year. So there are ways to go to do your thing. It took a complete paradigm shift on my part as a GM, and then I was hooked. That's why I'm in all four now.
Totally. And I went through a similar thing too. I was totally against, and that I remember the one owners meeting, I was totally against it. And I, like you, realized, I can make my team so much better. I can raise the capital I need for the draft if I want to, or I can use my draft picks to raise the capital to go get a player. There are just so many options. And, there's prize money and decent prize money in a lot of the leagues, but there's also, gambling and betting that we're bringing on board, and the staking and some of the other things among the platform and the merchandising, the NFTs, the athletes. There's just layer upon layer. I call it the most delicious onion I've ever had, UFF Sports, because there's a layer after layer of so many things that is just more than we're going to be competing for prize money, and we all want to win, but we're all going to hopefully, rising tide lifts all boats, right? So baseball will do their part to lift and help lift the league like the other sports have, and we'll all benefit from it, whether you're in one sport or four sports.
Right, and you mentioned the NFTs, and for me, something is another thing that keeps me so interested in it is being able to compete against players like that have played the game that are just legends, like Justin Morneau, and we have Nick Lewis with another team in here. So guys like this, and in other leagues in the football, like guys like Mike Vick and Chris Carter and Chad Johnson. I watched Chad Johnson. I'm a huge Flames fan, so I was like, Chad Johnson, he's from Calgary too. This is pretty cool, right? And the guys like Marty St. Louis, and then celebrities like yourself and like Dustin Nielsen, who I'm actually in another league with Dustin, actually two other leagues, but yeah, I'm like, this is incredible. Like, you don't get that chance in other leagues to be competing with actual players and actual like sports celebrities and all that it's fantastic. That's just another element to all of this that's just incredible, and I can't resist.
Yeah, it's so cool. Ryan Malone, owner of Dynasty in our hockey league, sending Steven Stamkos his hats with the logo because he's on his actually team. Like, there is a literal connection. And Justin Morneau and Corey Koski being part of an ownership group, one was first, one was third with the Twins. The knowledge that they have because they were part of those teams that were put together. It really is a cool element that no other fantasy league can even come close to. So I love that you're involved in all four sports. And, I think back to that summer day where we all met at your place in your backyard there, and Tony and Andrea and Liz were traveling, and we kind of had a meeting to where it is now. And even then we were really excited. But from then to now, and I can't imagine where we're going to be a year from now when we've already crowned a champion in UFLB. But it's been quite a ride so far, hasn't it?
It sure has. I remember we were talking in that backyard. We were talking about things like what's coming up now, like the Legends League, stuff like that has just been drafted in the football, but ideas being talked about and seeing them now in reality, it's absolutely incredible. Yeah, and what a great group that was to meet with, but yeah, it's come a long ways, and I'm really impressed with everything I've seen.
Awesome, Ian. Well, I'm so happy that you're involved in baseball, because you're a great owner in hockey, and I know you're a great owner in football and basketball, even though I'm not in those leagues. So great to have you involved in this. And I know if there's any of our newcomers, you'd be a great guy to reach out to ask any questions about how the platform works. So we appreciate everybody that's involved, helping all the newcomers come on board. And it's like one big happy family that's really competitive, but still a big happy family.
Well, I hope to talk to anybody that wants to chat, maybe on Innovation Island or something like that as well, because that's a great place to talk. And I find that text sometimes you can't get across exactly what you're trying to say. So something like Innovation Island, I'm always willing to chat there about any of it. And maybe I'll have some interviews there. My team will have some interviews with some GMs. You never know, but yeah, my pleasure to do that and to talk to anybody about it, and I can get ideas from those other people as well, because I'm always learning with all of this.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ian, for joining us on the show, and continued success, and enjoy UFFS.
All right. Thanks so much for having me, Dean.
Don't try to strike everybody out. Strikeouts are boring. Besides that, they're fascist.
Presented by Ultimate Franchise Fantasy Sports.
Throw some ground ball. More democratic.
Get in the game, where you own the game.
That was a fun conversation with Ian. Thank you very much to him for his time, and great guy to reach out to if you do have some questions about how things might be working. Everybody on this platform is very friendly and wanting to help everybody else out. So make sure you ask if you don't know, that's for sure. Inside UFLB is presented by Ultimate Franchise Fantasy Sports. This is more than fantasy. It is the greatest fantasy platform, but we also have digital athletes, NFTs with utility. And these are starting to be revealed very shortly. Check out www.uffsports.com or follow on Twitter at UFF Sports and get in the game where you own the game with our NFT sports marketplace. You will absolutely love it. All right, before we wrap up, definitely not getting a perfect game. I think we're already 3 or 4 hits into it. Maybe it was I walked the bases loaded and it was a grand slam. I'm not really sure. But if you do want to submit a proposal for anything that you want voted on or discussed for the owners meeting in January, or meetings if we need more than one, make sure you get those in, because they have to go to the founders first. If they're not a platform issue and they're able to be voted on, it'll come back, and then it'll be proposed for you at the meeting by the person who put it up. It's probably a good idea to have a bit of a presentation to get to the rest of the owners so they can check it out and have some time to absorb it and look at it if it is a little bit more difficult. But make sure you get those in. Just send them to me, Dean_UFLB at UFFsports.com, and we can get those before the founders. And if you want, and then if they make it to the meeting, that's gravy. All right, Inside UFLB is part of the Ultimate Fantasy Sports Network, your one-stop fantasy sports shop. If you have a show that you would like to get on the network, please, by all means, reach out and let us know. And make sure you check out www.uffsports.com, the brand new website. It is outstanding. All right, one more thing to go. This is a little bit of advice from Crash Davis.
You be cocky and arrogant, even when you're getting beat.
That's what you need to know for all of you Ultimate Fantasy League Baseball brand new franchise owners. Thank you very much for being a part of this league. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll have many more owner profiles and fun things to talk about as we go and as we grow. Have yourselves a great weekend. Enjoy whatever it is you do. Ban the shift. Take care.